Hello, my name's Beth and thanks for joining me here on the Pagan Creative Podcast, where we explore ideas around creativity and the creative life from a pagan and nature-based perspective. We talk about what creativity means to us, how we can draw it out of ourselves, and how we can use it in the world. So this episode, it sits outside of our usual episodes and the series on creativity and plant development that we've been running over the year. And this episode is especially for the festival of Mabon, or the Autumn Equinox, that we are celebrating in the Northern Hemisphere at the moment. And you might also know it by some of its other names, depending on your path or where in the world you are. You might call it Second Harvest, following on from the first harvest that we went through at Lunasa or Lammas. You might call it Harvest Home, or Winter Finding, or Feast of Avalon, or Alban Elfed, or Cornucopia, or any one of many other names that it has. And of course, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere at the moment, then you'll be celebrating the Spring Equinox. And so I also recommend maybe giving the episode we released at the Spring Equinox a listen, if you'd like to join in that celebration. But for this episode, we'll be focused on the Autumn Equinox, and we'll follow the same kind of format as the previous festival episodes. So I'll be talking for a while about the festival, and then we'll go into a quieter space together with some poetry, with a guided visualization meditation, and a healing candle meditation. So let's get started. The autumn equinox is a time of year that sits on that balance point of equal light and dark, equal day and night, just like at the spring equinox, except that this time, instead of heading into an increase of light with lengthening days and shorter nights, we're walking into the dark half of the year with the longer nights and the shorter days. And as we've said, it's also the second harvest festival, and that's a festival that seems to find its way into all kinds of cultures and traditions because it is associated with that second harvest of fruits and vegetables and this bringing in the foods that will help to see us through the winter. And for most of us these days, of course, we expect to have access to foods all year round, despite all these movements to eat seasonally, to align us more with the earth's natural seasons and rhythms. Our shops and our supermarkets, they're still full of foods that you'd usually only expect to see in the summer months, or that don't grow locally at all. So it can be quite hard to have a sense of marking this time in a way that feels real to us, unless we get out into nature and we look at what's happening on the trees and the bushes and in the allotments and the fields. And if you are lucky enough to have a space to grow your own, then you will probably have a much more profound sense of this need to get things in before the frost starts rolling round and bringing a proper end to the growing season. Because while a few very hardy plants that can withstand that cold and ice that's coming might still be productive in the months that follow as we head into the autumn and then into the winter, we are entering a time of rest overall within the earth. We're saying that temporary goodbye to the heat and the strong light of the summer sun. And this festival in its form as Mabon is named for Mabon, the god of light from Welsh mythology, as he gives way to the winter and the coming darkness. And if it's part of our tradition, then we might also think of this in terms of the Oak King and the Holly King. The Oak King of the summer finally losing his battle with the evergreen Holly King, who rules over the coming chill and darkness, and both are necessary to keep the cycle of life in motion and to allow the earth to rest and renew and turn away from that peak of productivity and enter that darkness, knowing that it will restore. And it's perhaps a reminder to us that once we have done the work of gathering in and the work of harvesting, of doing what needs to be done, then it's okay to rest. It's okay to let go of striving and to slow down as the earth slows down. That earth that is transforming to the aging goddess. The crone who is no longer physically fertile, but who is still full of something deeper and richer. And it's something that invites us into our internal space, the world that lives inside us. And as we take into ourselves all that we've grown through the year and we let it nourish us, as we give thanks for everything that has unfolded, everything that has grown in our life, everything that has allowed us to grow, as we recognize our achievements and blessings, the challenges and the paths that we have found or perhaps had to create through difficulties to get to the other side of them, we also welcome the unknown that is now reaching out its hand to us and encouraging us not to fear this coming time, to entertain the possibility that maybe somewhere in that approaching darkness, in the still space, then we might find what we need and what we've been seeking. You know, sometimes we go through this cycle outside of the turning of the earth. It can actually come to us at any time, something that tells us, stop what you're doing, step out of it and move into stillness, move into rest, move into inactivity, step outside of the world and all of its bustle and its outward movement. Maybe something in our life comes to a natural end, or a phase in our life comes to an end. Maybe we've been through intense activity for whatever reason, maybe to get through a crisis. Maybe we've exhausted ourselves and our body is asking us to remember the need for renewal. And this time it can come on slowly, or it can come on very suddenly and unexpectedly, and it can take many forms. It can have many, many faces. And I think more often than not, as human beings, we tend to resist it. And that's completely natural. It's something that interferes with our life. It disrupts us and it disrupts our focus on productivity. It destabilizes us. But the crone goddess, once she appears, she doesn't often take no for an answer. She might wander away for a while if she thinks there's nobody home, but she will come back again and again, and she will knock harder and louder on our door. And if she is showing up for us in this way, then more often than not, we're wise to listen to her, however inconvenient her visit might be, however long she decides to stay. Because just like that harvest that we gather in, whether that is in food or whether it is as the outcome of something else that we have worked on or we worked towards, she never comes to visit without a gift, if we're willing to accept it. And it might not look like a gift when she offers it, but if we take time to unwrap it and to peel back the layers and to see what it is, then there is always a gift. Perhaps it's an insight or an understanding. Perhaps it's something that makes us feel more at home in our own skin and bones. Or perhaps it's something we can take out into the world and live a better version of our life or a better version of ourselves. And I've been going through this process over the past few years with my midlife transition. Let's call it a transition rather than a crisis. But I felt as a woman in midlife, in a woman's physical body, that I have been standing right on this point of the autumn equinox for quite some time now, looking back at the life I've led to this point and then forward along the road that has to journey into the darkness of winter before there will be a spring. And I've been feeling the chaos in my body as the energy makes this dramatic shift. And whenever we come to stand on this point, whether we are male or female, whether we are in midlife or we're at some other time that prompts this kind of reflection, it can bring up so many emotions because it gives us a sense of the life that we've lived, the life that we hopefully still have that is unlived, and the feeling of standing on a threshold of change and transformation that is just laced with so much uncertainty and not really knowing what to expect ahead. And any sort of excitement that we might feel about that can be very tinged with anxiety and fear. You're standing in this place of the autumn equinox. There is very much a sense of something completed, some part of ourselves falling away to open up the doors to what comes next. And with the awareness that I have now, that I've been standing in this place in my life for a while, I'm understanding more and more why so many people reach this time in their life and start trying to reclaim their youth. Perhaps because that was the last point of certainty, or because it was a time when we had a sense of more life ahead of us than behind us. It's the summer where everything is bountiful and abundant, and the light and the heat seem to stretch out endlessly ahead of us. And we don't worry about the autumn or the winter. We don't worry about what we have or we haven't prepared for. We just live. And I won't lie to you, as I've pondered the feeling of uncertainty ahead, I've found myself looking backwards, looking back to who I have been in my life, how I have chosen to live. And at times I've found myself wanting to try and cling on to some kind of sense of who I am. I've been searching for a still internal point as I've had this sense of my body and my life turning around me. But as I went through that, I realized that I was looking in the wrong place, because in looking back, I wasn't holding on to who I am. I was holding on to who I was, because I'm not the same person I was 25 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even a year ago. And living through the cycles and the phases and the events of our lives changes us. they're supposed to, they're what allows more of us to become visible to ourselves, to become more present in our lives, and to realize more of who we are and what truly matters to us, and how wide the doors of our heart are capable of opening. We evolve. And, if we stand on this point in our life and we try to scrabble our way back into the past, if we push aside the person that we are in favour of the person that we were, then how can we ever reap the harvest of the life that we've lived? How can we ever gather into ourselves the results, the sometimes very hard-won outcomes of the work of living? How do we integrate the lessons and the insights that we've gained through our experiences? And yes, certainly in relation to age, the pull to avoid all of this can be overwhelming. We live in societies that heavily condition us to view aging as a disease that we should spend our every waking moment trying to cure and deny. And it sends the message that there is no value in this time of our life, that only youth is worth living, that only the physical world of outward productivity is worthwhile, and the inner world is of no consequence. And maybe you can tell that I am trying quite hard here not to get on my soapbox and rant about this, because it is just so destructive to our ability to really reap the harvest of mid and later life. And it can really damage our sense of self-worth and distort the way that we perceive ourselves, or the way we feel about the idea that we will at some point enter that stage in our life. And it can create a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety around something that has the potential to help us evolve into the people we were born to be. We can only make those shifts in ourselves if we allow ourselves to stand in the place where we are now and feel into who we are now, and feel the richness and the depth that living has gifted us with. And allow the shift, allow the change, the transition, the gift of now, with all of its uncertainty and impermanence. And I think the autumn equinox, in many ways, is a point of surrender to now. It's a moment of pure presence and acceptance. Just like the trees allow the autumn winds to blow the leaves from the branches, to let the old cycle and let the old phase fall away to make room for the next cycle, for the new leaves, for a new purpose, whenever that may come and whatever it might look like. Depending on what has happened in our life to bring us to this place of autumn, whether that's in the whole cycle of our life or whether it's a smaller cycle within it, it can feel scary. It can feel intimidating even to look ahead into our life with a less certain sense of ourselves, with a less certain sense of our identity, knowing that we are transforming and changing in some way, and that when we emerge from the winter, we will be new in some way. And I think this point of the autumn equinox holds perhaps the most tension on this journey, because this is the moment when we are standing with past and future on either side of us, the known and the unknown, what is certain and what is uncertain, the light and the darkness. And we haven't fully let go of the past. We're right at the start of that journey into the unknown and this time that will change us. And as we stand on the threshold of autumn for the Northern Hemisphere, the crone is coming forwards. The deep current of transition within the earth is knocking on our door, and she's saying, I have arrived. I am here. Let me in. And it's up to us over the coming weeks to open that door and to let her in, to let her warm her old bones at the fire, to stop what we're doing and give her our attention as our guest over these months, to sit down with her and share with her some of what we have gathered while we listen to her stories and her wise words, as we accept the gifts that she's brought to us to make us more whole and to support the evolution within our life, to show us the harvest that we've reaped and to let it change us in the ways that we need it to, and to reveal more of ourselves and who we can become when we surrender to these natural cycles within our life. I'd like to invite you now to share in our pathworking meditation and some poetry and a candle meditation all around these themes of autumn equinox that we've been talking about today. And as always, please do only enter into this if your attention is not needed elsewhere, such as if you are driving or you're taking care of children or you're operating any kind of machinery. But if you are in a position to settle down and to relax, then I would ask you now to find a comfortable place to sit or to lie down, making sure that your body is well supported, that you're nice and cozy, so that you can just close your eyes and sink into relaxation and this space that is created to nurture and to hold you in this autumn sharing. So take a few moments to do that now. And when you're settled and ready, I'll begin with a poem, and it's simply called Crone. I feel her coming, stealing blood and bone and the symbols of spring, crown alight with autumn leaves, dark eyes spinning gossamer thread to ripple in the spider's web. She gathers the fading light to withered breasts, humming her lullaby, and time surrenders to her touch, to her hands filled with stars and moonlight. It is not over, she croons, as the path stretches before me. There is more to do, so much more. Use your time wisely, for I am the chaos of the turning wheel. I am the threshold of the labyrinth and the mysteries of your heart, the deep harvest of your life story. Celebrate my coming, for I am the season of changes. I am the season of the soul. And now we've set the scene, let's move into our guided pathworking meditation. And at the end of this meditation, I'd like to invite you to keep your eyes closed and to just carry on relaxing, as we will move into the healing candle meditation afterwards. But for now, let's take a moment to start to relax a little bit more deeply. So just take a moment to close your eyes and to get comfortable, and make any small adjustments in your body that allow you to let go of tension. And when you're ready, we'll just take a few deep breaths, just as deep as feels comfortable for you. So just let yourself breathe in and out. And in and out. And in and out. Just start to allow any tightness in your body to flow away from you. Just imagine it leaving you like a river running away from your body. And you just place your attention onto your chest and your belly as you breathe into them slowly and gently, in a rhythm that feels comfortable for you. And as you breathe, just imagine that your energy is expanding and contracting with your breath as light. Slowly building up to be stronger and brighter, till it forms a cloak or a bubble of light all around you, coming right over your head, under your feet. And as it grows, becomes stronger and brighter, you let your heart and your belly soften. You let your mind quieten down. Just imagine your mind is like a muscle that you can relax. Just let the tension move out. There's nowhere that you need to be. There's nothing that you need to be doing. Just be here in this moment. And just be aware of your breath as it moves in and out of you. Just feel it gently energizing you. Just let your muscles loosen, become heavier as you relax into your seat or the ground or the bed where you're lying. Just feel that support that's all around you. Just bringing your attention to the places where the ground meets your body. And be aware of the place where the base of your spine is in contact with the surface that is beneath you. And just imagine that you can breathe into the base of your spine for a few breaths. Just imagine that light and air just flowing into the base of your spine as you breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Just imagine that area becoming warm and softening and opening up to join with the earth beneath you. And as you feel that connection to the earth, just allow yourself to send a root down from the base of your spine or from the soles of your feet if you prefer. And just imagine that it's traveling down into the earth, down through all the layers of the earth, the soil, the rocks, all of the layers of history, the layers of our ancestors, and all of the roots within the earth that unite us as one. Just let that root from you travel down and down, right down to the center of the earth, right down to the earth fire at the center of the planet. And imagine that that warm golden fire is flowing up through your root and up into your body, into your feet, your legs, your pelvis, your torso, your heart, with that beautiful warm golden light is just filling up and nourishing and strengthening your body, flowing up and out through the top of your head, flowing down and around you and back down to the earth. Just feel the flow of that warm golden golden earth fire flowing through you. And as you do this, feel the light of the sun above you flowing down onto the top of your head, down through your head to your heart and your torso, through your pelvis and your legs and your feet, and out into the earth. Just feel this infinite light of the sun that is illuminating you and warming you and flowing down through you. Just take a moment to feel yourself as a bridge joining the sky and the earth. As they each bring their light to nourish you and protect you and hold you safe. And when you're ready, I'd like to ask you to imagine that you are standing at the entrance to a woodland, and the sun is still in the sky, but it's lowering. It's throwing long shadows of trees across the path. And as you start to walk along this path into the woodland, you can feel that the earth is a little muddy under your feet, that the air is cool and crisp, and the creatures of the woodland are a little quieter than they have been in the summer months. And you notice the leaves on the trees that are ablaze with colours of red and gold and orange and brown. And you're aware of the rustle and the crunch of them under your feet where they have fallen to the floor. And you make your way up through the trees, following the path that leads through the shadowy forest that is starting to fall into sleep. As you look ahead, you see an old woman standing by a tree, as if she is waiting for you, silent and still. And as you approach, she turns and walks through the trees, beckoning you to follow. And you fall into step behind her. And as you walk, you see that she is carrying a basket, and she's picking the berries that hang in heavy bunches from the branches along the side of the path. And she stoops to the ground to pick mushrooms that are poking up through the grass, picking some, leaving others, knowing what will nourish her, knowing what will poison her, knowing when things are perfectly ripe and when they need a little more time, knowing when they have been left too long to be useful. She is practiced. She has lived and breathed these woods for many years. She knows every plant, every tree, every creature that lives here. And now she is welcoming you, guiding you along the same paths as she plucks her harvest from the earth. Eventually, she leads you to a small clearing, and you sit down together. Take some time now to greet this old woman of the woods, this crone goddess who has come to spend time with you. What do you notice about her? How has she chosen to appear to you? And this could be visual or some other kind of information within your mind or your emotions or your body. But take some time to get a sense of her and anything that she may wish to share with you at this point. As you sit together, she reaches into her basket and pulls out a silver mirror, which she hands to you and asks you to look at your own reflection. And as you look into the mirror, you see your own image. How does it appear to you? Is there anything about it that surprises you? And as you continue to gaze into the mirror, face starts to fade, to show you what is under the surface, the things that are a part of you, the person who you are today. And the mirror might show you images and sensations from the last year and this current cycle of the year. Or it could show you things from across your whole lifetime, or just a phase of your life. It shows you whatever you want or need to look at right now, to feel as part of you. What do you need to be reminded of in yourself? It might be experiences, pleasures or challenges, thoughts or feelings, beliefs that have guided you, decisions made, paths chosen. It might show you qualities or insights or understandings that you have grown in yourself or your life. Just know that only what supports you in your personal journey will appear. Whatever that looks like for you right now. And as you look into the mirror, you have a sense of life lived, of what has gone before that has brought you to this moment, where you stand now, and the person that you are, the harvest of your life. And whoever you feel yourself to be right now, wherever you are in your life, whatever your journey has been, know that who you are right now, in this moment, is okay. It's okay to stand here and not know what comes next. Just as everything you have seen in the mirror or experienced through the mirror was once an unknown that is now a moment lived and past, so is each moment ahead an unknown that will become a moment lived and past in time. As the images in the mirror start to fade, you return the mirror to the old woman, and she puts it back into her basket and takes your hand. She leads you to one side of the clearing where there are different trees and bushes bearing different kinds of berries, black and red and orange and purple. You might recognize some of them and know that you can eat them. Some of them you might recognize as poisonous and that they will harm you. And some you might not be sure about. The old woman hands you a little basket of your own and invites you to make a harvest, but only to pick the berries that will nourish and support you. And if you're not sure which ones these are, then ask the old woman to point them out to you. And as you make your harvest, just be mindful that all of these berries represent something in your life. The things that nourish and support you, the things that harm you, and the things that maybe you don't have enough experience of yet to know how they might affect you, or that maybe both support and harm you. As you pick your berries, you pause to taste one that is ripe and juicy, placing all of your attention on the taste, on the sensation of the juice in your mouth, the sensation of pleasure. Just allow that feeling of pleasure to flow through your body. Allow yourself to fully receive it. And as you look at all the berries that you have collected in your basket, you know that you can fill yourself up with these whenever you choose. And as you look back to the branches and the berries that you know are poisonous to you, you know that it's okay to leave them there on the branches. You don't have to harvest them or to take them into yourself. You can leave them for creatures that can be nourished by them, or simply allow them to wither and fade and naturally drop from the branches over the winter. But take a few moments to ask yourself if there are any plants, any things growing in your life that are producing these kinds of berries or fruits. Things that don't feel supporting or nourishing, but maybe leave you feeling drained or unhappy. Things that you don't want to keep growing. It could be situations, or it could be beliefs that don't serve you. Ways of thinking about yourself or others or the world. Habits or behaviors that work against your well-being. What do you want to release and to let go of? So take a few moments to consider this. What do these particular berries represent in your life? What is not nourishing you and is ready to be released? And as you reflect on what you wish to release, you start to notice that you are covered in leaves that have grown from you as if you are a tree standing within this forest. And the leaves are like the old leaves on the trees around you, red and gold and orange and brown. They are all the things that you are ready to release. And as you stand here with the old crone at your side, she lifts her arms to make a gesture in the air, and a strong gust of wind sweeps through the woodland. And as it swirls around you, you feel yourself letting go of the leaves, allowing them to be set free, to be released from you and swept away to be broken down by the earth, swept away by this autumn wind that is supporting you in your healing. When every leaf has been blown from you, the old woman takes your hand and leads you back to sit with her for a few more moments in the clearing as the last of the light shines through the trees. This is your time to ask her any questions you may have about the work you have done together, or perhaps how she can guide or help you in the months ahead, or anything else that you might want to talk about. When you're ready, you thank the crone and say goodbye, making your way back along the path, through the berries and the mushrooms, through the trees and the golden leaves underfoot, through the mud and the scent of the damp earth and vegetation. And as you reach the place where you began this journey, you allow it to fade from your senses. You let it fade, knowing that you can always come back here if you want to. And you start to slowly move your focus back to your physical body. You start to become aware of the form of your body, of your arms and your legs, and your torso and your head. And you become aware of the place where you are, of what you're experiencing with your physical senses, what you can hear and smell and taste, what you can feel, the sensation of the chair, the ground, or the bed supporting your body. Just imagine a cloak of leaves wrapping around your shoulders, holding you in this energy of nature, holding you safe, embracing you in love and support. And you take some deep breaths in, feeling the air move through your body, how it expands your chest and your belly. And you take your breath deeper. Just imagine that you're breathing in through your feet. Just focus on the soles of your feet. Just be aware of your feet making contact with the ground as you allow your body to slowly and gently move. Just let your toes and your fingers start to move. You could roll your head from side to side. Just roll your shoulders. Just allow your body to move in whatever ways feels comfortable for you. But before you open your eyes, I want to invite you to remain in this space of relaxation just for a little while longer with your eyes closed as we share our healing candle. I have lit this candle now as our Autumn Equinox or Mabon flame, and I'd like to invite you to imagine that candle and its flame burning in the darkness. To imagine that flame as a point of connection for all of the beautiful shining hearts that are taking part in this space, regardless of time or place, just a single point of focus, a single point of light that is radiating out to bless each one of us with its warmth and its healing, energizing us, opening us, uplifting and illuminating us in whatever way we have need of it. So let's spend a minute or so just focused on this flame together. And start to see this flame now as a flame that radiates out beyond us to touch the hearts of all those who wish to receive it, bringing light, warmth, comfort, love, healing, compassion, kindness, beauty, peace, joy, friendship, understanding. See its light expanding to hold the whole world, every living being. Feel it finding its way into every dark space, opening the inner doorways to allow every heart that desires it to receive. Let this autumn flame bring the light of healing release, support in letting go of what is no longer needed, bringing desired change and transformation, bringing courage and trust where there is uncertainty, to bring about positive outcomes. See it shining its light for the benefit of all. Let this flame bring the peace of unity, harmony, togetherness as one planet, hearts joined with all beings held in this light. And let's just stay in that space together for a few minutes, and there will be silence for this time. So please don't worry, there's nothing wrong with your device. I will bring you back when it's time. Blessed be. And when you're ready, just allow yourself once again to become aware of the room where you are sitting or lying. Become aware of the sounds and the sensations of your body, of your limbs, of the support that you're lying on. And bring your attention to your breath. And just feel it expanding and moving in your chest and your belly. Just pulling you into your body, present and aware. And just let yourself make some small movements of your fingers and your toes, your head and your shoulders. Have a good stretch if you feel like it. And keep breathing right into your feet, just feeling the ground below you and around you. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Okay, so I really hope that you have enjoyed our equinox celebration here today. I will bring this space to a close here, but as always, I do just want to thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all of the blessings of this wonderful and beautiful festival of the earth and this time of autumn as we begin our journey into the dark months of the year. So much love, so much light, so much beauty that I'm sending out to you, and I hope you'll join me here again next time. But until then, bye for now.